Yo guys, what is going on? It is Invin here, and today what I wanted to bring to you all is a video on whether the May update is going to change the ability meta in New World, and specifically relating this to my time on the PTR in the 3 versus 3 arenas. Now, as you can see here, we are on screen with the arena update PTR release notes. Essentially, this is the stuff that on the PTR is in full fruition and will be coming to the live servers with the May update. Now, this is the first iteration of the notes that we're looking at here. Of course, we have now had the second and third versions released, but of course, I've covered those as well. Now, what we're going to do is look at the changes specifically to the abilities. So, for example, Meteor Shower, Whirlwind, and also we're looking at Ice Pylon amongst some other things here. And what I'm going to do is compare what they're going to be here, then bring you guys into the live game servers right now to show you what they currently are and talk about whether I think they're going to be more viable and whether, if I've used them on the PTR, they've actually improved physically in playstyle, not just in theory through the numbers that we can see. Like, technically it's gone up by 10% damage, but some stuff just isn't that good in practice. So I've tried to use all of the changed ones over in the PTR to test this for you guys, and some of them you might be shocked to see are great. Other ones, like the Meteor Shower, I'm sorry to say, is still not amazing, at least for the arenas, but that isn't to say that it's not going to be good in wars, because obviously haven't tested that in the PTR as of yet. Now, before we jump into today's video fully, please do make sure that if you are new to the channel and you want to see more New World content, do drop a subscribe down below by pressing the big red subscribe button. It massively helps to support me and my content, and I would love to have you here as part of my channel community. And if you're going to enjoy the video and find it useful, please do drop me a like, as well as it massively also helps to support my content, and please use the algorithm, which helps spread this video to more people, which would be absolutely amazing. Without further ado, let's jump into it. So, like I've mentioned a couple of times here, we're first looking at the fire staff and specifically the Meteor Shower. Now, the Meteor Shower has had an increased casting range from 15 to 20 meters, and it's had an increased damage from 20 to 25% weapon damage. Now, we don't need to go into the game to see what currently is happening because it's not affected the passives or the active ability status. It's just the mechanics of it. It's okay, but it's still not a very good sought after perk in the PTR on the fire staff. People are taking anything but that, basically. It's just really not that good in the arenas. That being said, it could now be a lot better in invasions for the PvE side of stuff, as well as, you know, your expeditions and such, and it could be decent in OPR and the wars. I haven't tried it, but generally you kind of are locked in place whilst you're casting this ability, which has made it basically not that popular. And if we look at how Pillar of Fire, for example, has changed now, this ability now allows movement during its cast animation. I think if there was a slowed movement for Meteor Shower, so you could kind of side dodge a little bit so you weren't a sitting duck with it, it could be a lot better, but it just doesn't do enough of a percentage to warrant the stood stillness, even with this upgrade to 25% weapon damage as of yet. Like I said, I haven't actually tested it in OPR and wars because on the PTR they haven't popped too much, but at least in the arenas it's not going to be one that's highly picked. That being said, PvE it could be fairly decent, so I'll give you guys an update on that later down the line. Now, the next one that's kind of the biggest one that I want to cover here today is the Great Axe, and specifically the Whirlwind ability. This one has had an increased base movement speed while spinning from 3 to 3.5, and has also had the gusting winds and the unending winds swapped round, so it's what's going to be unending winds right now in the live servers. Has had the increased speed bonus from 50% to 100%. So if we go into the game here, you guys can see Whirlwind would be this one right here, just to the left of the camera, and it's basically where you spin and attack all nearby foes, dealing 50% weapon damage. If you hit a foe, you spin again, maximum of 4 spins, and then you can move while spinning, and this attack cannot be backstabbed, and attack has grit. Now, it's worth noting that you can get Fortifying Whirlwind, so you can also get a Fortify buff whilst doing this. But again, the main reason was it just isn't as good as things like Maelstrom or Gravity Well, and of course the utility that Charge gives is really good. However, some players have really enjoyed using this with the Fortifying Whirlwind. So what's been changed? Well, we know we've got a base movement speed upgrade, so you're going to be going faster with this ability, which I think will make it more viable, particularly in the arenas. It's going to make it better because you're going to be able to travel a little bit further, but also wars, OPR, PvE, it's all going to be a lot better with that upgrade. And also, Gusting Winds, obviously, this one has now going to be called Unending, and this one is going to be called Gusting, so they're swapping our names around. But it's essentially this third upgrade here, or the second passive upgrade, to Whirlwind, which is going to be where the Whirlwind's movement speed is increased by 50%. That's going all the way up to 100%, so that's going to be a really, really good upgrade to make this double as quick as it is now, which is a massive, massive buff, and that could actually mean that this is a really good ability for both engaging and disengaging. Now, it's important to note, like it says there, even if you don't have 300 strength, this attack has grit, and it also can't be backstabbed, so you're not going to get things like extra damage getting piled onto you from those additional backstab crits. You can still get randomly crit though, but what you are going to see is, particularly with the new PvP only perks, you're not going to get that backstab particular one. That isn't going to work in this. Also, if you're able to get out of a situation quickly with grit, even if you don't have 300 strength, this could be a really, really solid option for utility wise, just like the charge is currently. So in other words, yes, this has been buffed massively. I can see Whirlwind becoming very, very popular in the small scale PvP as well as the larger scale because of the changes. Whether it's going to overtake Gravity Well, Maelstrom Charge, I don't know fully. I'm certainly going to test it on the full live servers when it comes out in Wars and in OPR as well as in PvE. PvE on the PTR, it does seem decent. It's not amazingly good, but it's certainly decent, and it does do a lot of damage when you group the mobs up. So it may be that this is worth taking, especially in PvE over something like Charge. So this could be seeing a rise in the ranks, and it could be seeing itself get a nice little spot, particularly with the ability, like I say there, to engage and disengage very fluidly with extra movement speed. Next, we're talking about the Ice Pylon then. This one has had its damage increased from 50% to 75% weapon damage, and also it's had the health increased from 12 to 20% of player health. Now, I don't play mage on the main servers yet. I haven't got my full set done, but playing a light mage on the PTR for the arena's purposes, testing that build, I basically had around 12,000 health with 150 constitution, and then the weapon damage was, you know, depending upon what level you get it to, if you've got a 625 or not, but that actually is a big increase. It's a 25% increase on what we had, which is going to mean it's hard hitting, and this was hitting roughly about 7 to 800 with 300 int and a 600 gear score legendary fire staff. So you're going to be seeing, you know, 7 to 800, maybe 900 once you push to 625, maybe even more, who knows, but that is a really good percentage. And then of course, like I said there, the 20% of player health, looking at about 12,000 health there, so 10% of that, we're looking about 2,400 at 20%, which is actually a pretty good amount. And there is, of course, some abilities that I'm going to touch on that make this even better. So moving into the live servers here, then I'm just going to switch the camera over to the other side of the screen so you guys can see the builder side, which is the Ice Pylon itself. Obviously, currently deals 50% weapon damage. That's getting increased. And you'll see here this one, increased damage of Ice Pylons against slowed targets by 10%. So if you do get a slow on them from another ability, also works, and other slows from other players and other abilities also works too. Then you've got Pylon Regen. This is the one that's really, really crucial for the health change. Ice Pylon regenerates to full health 5 seconds after last damage taken. Now, in a 3v3, lots of players, especially if it turns into a bit of a rumble in the middle of the map, especially when the ring closes in, they're not looking towards the floor to find this, so it can often pump out some damage. And if people do start to attack it, you then drop things like your Ice Storm, your Ice Spikes, your Ice Shower onto those players, along with whatever else your team and yourself have. It can detract them from attacking that, and they might not fully finish the kill on the Ice Pylon, which means if it is then left for 5 seconds, because that player has to move or has to stop attacking it to combat you, then it goes back up to full health, and on 2,400, that's going to be at least 2 or 3 hits, which doesn't sound a lot, but before, it was pretty much 1 or 2 hits every time. It's now at least 2 or 3 hits, usually 4 or 5, depending if you get crits in there or not. So this can actually be a really, really good distractor and can pump out a nice bit of extra damage. I would imagine this is the same for Outpost Rush and Wars. Again, I haven't tested it, but PvE, this was also working really, really well with the damage increase. So overall, we could be seeing a big increase to the usage of Ice Pylon in PvE and 3v3 arenas. Like I said, have to test on large scale PvP more, but it is seeming promising. Now, another one to mention with these upgrades to the health is the ultimate frost ability, and that is right down here where it doubles Ice Pylon's health and extends Ice Pylon's frosted area to a 5-meter radius. Standing in this frosted area doubles quick frost and empowered frost bonuses, obviously being the passives here, so the increased movement speed, and the empowered frost is this one here, which is gaining 3 mana for each spell cast while in a frosted area. It doubles the effect of both of those, which is very cool, but doubles the health, meaning you can get that up to 4,800 health, which takes those 3 to 4 shots minimum, averaging at, let's say, 4, doubling that almost up to 6, 7, maybe even 8 shots for a kill. Then all you've got to do is attack them in that time frame to get them away from that, and yeah, you can start to see how this adds up very nicely to make the Ice Pylon a big threat, particularly in the 3v3 arenas. So I do think this is going to come in a lot more. Again, like I said, in PvE as well, the mutated expeditions, this is great for pumping out extra damage. So overall, I do think players are going to be starting to pick up the Ice Pylon and build a side of the tree with the ultimate down there a lot more often. So do watch out for that in the arenas if you do go against it, and if you haven't thought about it, maybe have a look at putting it into your small scale PvP build, and who knows, maybe even the large scale wars this could really benefit, especially with near on 5,000 HP, even more maybe in the wars if you take up to 200 con. This could be really, really good, so it's certainly worth having a look at. Don't sleep on it when it is getting these super good buffs, and maybe it could be something you want to put into your build when it goes to live servers towards the end of this month. So guys, there is a few more changes, but those are the biggest and most important ones that I have thought to bring to you guys in today's video that are going to be changed in the May update. Of course, if we do get any changes to this in later PTR note iterations, I will bring you guys those updates here on the channel, so do make sure that you subscribe down below with the notification bell on so you don't miss out on any of those uploads. If you did enjoy today's video, please do drop me a like, as it really, really does help to support my content. I would really, really appreciate that, and hopefully this helps to give you guys some ideas about what you might want to change or add into your builds once the May update does go live and you get into these 3v3 arenas. If you've got any comments, questions, concerns, anything you want to ask about these updates, obviously I will leave the patch notes linked in the description down below, and of course put in the comments anything you're thinking of using or switching to and what you think about these changes in the comments down below as well. But other than that, guys, that is going to be it for today, so I'd like to thank you for your time, thank you for watching, and I will catch you again very, very shortly with a brand new upload. Take care, guys, and peace.